Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another segment of Experts Corner. Today, we have an amazing guest joining us. We have Mark Gottselig. How are you, Mark?
I'm doing well. I've been a little bit better, just battling a little bit of illness, but I'm on the good side of it now, so it's getting better. Thanks for asking.
'Tis the season, isn't it?
Yes.
Gotta love it. So Mark is with Global Ag Risk Solutions, and we're going to be talking about an important topic today, understanding risk and uncertainty. And Mark, I think this is a great topic for any day, any year. But to me, as a farmer, as a person in the industry, it just seems like this topic is becoming more and more relevant with each day, week, month, and year. So I'm excited. Why don't we dive right in and get you to share your thoughts on why you think it's so critical, so important for farmers to understand the different risks and uncertainties that can affect their farm.
Yeah, no, and you're absolutely right, Tracy. When it comes to every year, we have to really understand what we're facing for that year and for years to come, but especially this year and the opportunities that are available this year, following a little bit of a struggle last year. So really important to understand risks and uncertainty. Basically, and we all know it, it's not cheap to farm. The average 5,000 acre farm now, I believe this year is going to be spending, if they're not tickling $2 million, they're pretty close to it, if not over and above, just with how the costs of everything. And so if you say that $2 million, that's a boatload of change that we're facing every single year. And that's besides our living expenses over and on top of that. We're just talking cost of production and how it's more expensive to live every year. So understanding those things in every year is really critical. And especially after this year too, I've had lots of conversations, and especially at Crop Production Show this year, where farms are coming, and really what we would call top of the line farms, which there's a lot of them out there, are saying, you know what, I'm pretty good, especially after that year went through a drought, but I'm not as good as I thought I was, because I'm starting to learn a little bit more about my farm and my costs, and I just want to get somebody to talk about that a little bit. So that's where, of course, we're here for. So understanding those things are going to help you with not just the overall stresses of the total cost of production for farms that the farm has, but the stresses that are involved in all the big decision making that are throughout the year. If you don't understand those things, then it makes it really difficult. So, and what we and I really care about are the relationships, and not just the business relationships, but of those relationships that you have with the partnerships, the joint ventures, and then with your own family. If you don't have a really good grasp of all those stresses that are out there involving risk and uncertainty, it actually can affect all those relationships as well. And so the uncertainty being that main risk, and it's very tied close to risk. And we really know that uncertainty concept from the hangover of 2021, where now we're facing a looming drought, maybe in some areas, maybe a good start, but still fresh in the back of people's minds, making decisions last year that maybe they shouldn't have made because they didn't have that good crystal ball in front of them. And now there's a lot of uncertainty with the decisions that they want to make going forward. And so it's key for everybody to ask themselves, why do I have that uncertainty? And then who can I find as a resource to help me with that uncertainty? And that's really digging into it.
Okay, excellent. So you and your team, the advisors at Global Ag Risk Solutions, you guys work with farmers for risk management solutions. We'll do a call out at the end. I want to put you in a situation right now. Okay, you're at a trade show, but let's pretend you are sitting down with a client. You're at their kitchen table and you're sitting down to talk about uncertainty and risk. What are the key risk factors? Let's say you're sitting there today. This is the conversation you're having. What are the key risk factors that you would be bringing to their attention right now?
Yeah. So in preparation for our talk today, I was anticipating, a little bit of a question like this, and it's a great question for right now. And so right away, you'd think that I would go to weather as that risk, or fluctuating markets. Those are the things that are out of our control, and I like to talk about things that are in our control. And then you right away go to, cost of production, or soil health, or all those things. But those are all, risks. But I would say that the number one risk right now, and maybe not right now, but could be in farming, and not just in farming, but a lot of different areas when it comes to risk and uncertainty. And I might make somebody a little bit mad about this comment, but it's ignorance. And ignorance is not a negative word. Like, it's not tied to stupidity or IQ level. Ignorance is just not knowing something or being uncertain of something. So that's where I go to is that the real knowledge that you get, and then using that knowledge, finding out about things, really builds profitability, but more than that, builds resilience to the farm. And so understanding that you don't know what you don't know, and being open to learn more things. And then one more step to that, thinking that you know about something, but not really knowing about it all. That's also a form of some things that people have to get beyond. And so it's a little bit harsh, I know, and it's not meant to be negative, but really that's what it's all about. And so when we look at some of those risks that we just automatically gravitate to, and let's just say cost of production. So historical cost of production or present cost of production going forward, really digging in and understanding that is really key. Knowing your past and learning a lot from your past, knowing what's going forward, really key. All those working ratios on the farm, that more and more farms are understanding how they can use those. And I've had a lot of conversations with guys like Jonathan Small, who works for us, Terry Bedker. I'm not sure if you know who Terry Bedker is, from Back Swath Management. I mean, doing some great things there. They talk about these working ratios on the farm and how they can really help farms build resiliency, not just opportunistic about that year ahead, but resiliency going forward. And so the biggest one right now people are talking about is the working capital ratio. And we can get into a whole conversation about that. But that's my challenge to a lot of farms, is to get out there and to learn about some of these things and how they can actually help you become resilient going forward. So soil health this year right now, big question. Because of the drought, lots of residual chemistry in the soil, both the nutrients and crop protection. Well, there's an uncertainty or a risk there. If I don't know about that, or don't know how to handle that through an agronomist or something like that, then that could be a big risk for me as well. And you can go on and on and on. And, the available moisture right now and what that means for crop planting. Advisors that are out there that you may not know about, or companies or products that can help you through some of these uncertain times. These are all things that I really try to challenge farms on, is to think, go beyond what the status quo is, and really understand what can be out there to build that resilience for the farm.
That's awesome. I didn't think that's where you were going to go with that question. And, I don't think it's harsh, Mark. To be honest, that's the reason I started this show about 4 years ago, to really hone in on farm business management. I know, anybody in our audience knows farmers have a lot on their plate, right? Honestly, you're 10, 15 different hats for one person. That's a lot of stress. And for most producers, I don't know about you in the audience, for us, growing the herd, growing the crops can be enough on the farmer's mind. So it's not harsh to say ignorance, because there's so much out there, right?
Yeah, it's big business. And to put all that pressure on you, the farmer, or your farm partners to know everything, it's way too much pressure. So reach out and really understand how other people can help you.
And really to just follow that up, to me, my goal with these conversations that we're having, Expert Corner and the Impact Farming Show, it's to bring the people with the ideas that can impact the farming operation. So many farmers don't know about all the companies out there, all the different services that they can say, hey, you know what? I need help with this. We don't know everything that's out there. So that's why I love these conversations that we're having. So when you said ignorance being harsh, I don't think so. And I don't think that's the tone you meant. It's just, there's so much. So, okay, good. So why don't we talk about the year coming up? 2022 seems to be a year of even more uncertainty from last year. So you guys are having a lot of conversations with farmers. What are you hearing? What's weighing on farmers' minds right now?
Yeah, it's more uncertainty, definitely, and with that, a lot more opportunity too. And some farmers are saying this is a generational wealth year, which means this is something that if we hit it out of the park when it comes to growing that crop and harvesting with the prices that are there, this is a massive year. But with that comes obviously a lot of uncertainty, and especially following 2021. So the biggest risks and uncertainty right now that we're seeing is obviously the looming drought conditions, subsoil moisture, not great in a lot of areas, some good fall rains, and some where you are right now too, lots of snow that's happening. Hopefully it melts slow, and then we get some good moisture. But right now that's in the backs of people's minds. And last year at this time, who would ever thought that we were going to have no rain for 6 or 8 weeks and it for to be 35 plus degrees in a lot of different areas, right in that key development and reproduction time for the farm or for the crops. And so that's one thing. Second thing would be obviously the cost of production on people's minds, not just the availability, which is a problem right now when it comes to nutrients and chemistry for the farm, but just the overall cost going up of fertilizer and the crop protection products that are out there going up and up, fuel, that took another big jump, all these different things. It's just costing more. So after a looming drought, do I pull back and be careful, or do I try to plan for the best, knowing that the opportunity is out there? So that's and the last one is capturing some of those forward marketing opportunities right now. Some fall prices. I talked to one of our advisors today. He was talking to one of his clients in Manitoba, and he's wanting to pull the trigger on some $20 November canola. I mean, say that, and if we were this time last year, probably no uncertainty to maybe lock a little bit of that crop in, but now there is uncertainty. What do I do? Is it going to keep going up? Am I going to be able to actually plant a crop and grow a crop to fulfill a contract? So some of these uncertainties are some of the biggest risks out there that we've had in farming a long time, but also some of the biggest opportunities. And so that's where you get that uncertainty.
Okay, love it. Don't we love farming? It's just fun and risky. You were talking, I'm thinking Russian roulette at the casino. Oh my goodness. But we love what we do, right?
Well, absolutely. Yeah.
Now, I'm curious. Again, like I said earlier, we do these segments to connect you and the audience with people that specialize and have strong knowledge in different areas so you can impact your farm and do well. So now, Mark, I want to give you guys a bit of a pitch because you're out there helping farmers. There are a lot of farmers that work with you already, understand what you do. Can you share more about Global Ag Risk Solutions and how you work with farmers? Really get detailed because I'm curious. I know bits and pieces, but I'm curious. If a farmer is going, hey, wow, I would love somebody to take some of this pressure off my shoulders. What exactly do they do? Speak to that farmer in the audience.
For sure. Yeah. So we're a lot more than just delivering an insurance product to the farm. Our service has developed into what we call a proven process where our advisors will visit the farm and really start to get to understand where that farm is in their farming career, what are their major risks going forward, what their goals are, and understand if there's any value that a global ag risk product can bring to the farm even before we sit down and say, let's get quoted. Because if there's nothing that we can do to help that farm become more profitable or become more resilient, then we say, great knowing you. We'll explain the product, obviously, but we may or may not say you looks like you need us or not. That's very few farms, because we have now products and options available for different farms and in the different situations that they're in, whether they have really strong crop insurance and strong agri-facility reference margins or not. And so what we bring to the farm is what I call the best worst case scenario. And what I mean by that is we will develop and ensure a floor revenue for that farm that they will know before they jump in the tractor to start seeding. So we're guaranteeing, so we're nothing like crop insurance. We're not a crop to crop yield product. We're a full farm revenue product that will create that floor for the farm that they can't go through, doesn't matter what happens to their farm. So how we do that is that we ensure the actual costs of all seed, fertilizer, and chemical for the farm, whatever that number is at the end of the year, after fungicides are laid down, after people desiccate, if that's what they're doing. So after all of those costs are in, we ensure those actual costs plus a margin over and above that will ensure more of their costs of production. So let's just say that we were talking about that 5,000 acre farm at the start of the show, and let's just say hypothetically their costs, their seed, fert, and chem costs are $150 an acre, and then we look at the rest of their costs of production, so their fuel, their arm's length labor, their machinery, their land, everything, and they want to protect another $150 of that expense as well. So you add those two together, 150 plus 150 equals $300 an acre. And that is the floor that we're bringing to that farm, that 5,000 acre farm. So that $1.5 million floor, doesn't matter what happens. And if their costs go up, their seed, fert, and chem goes up throughout the year, their insurance, their coverage level, that floor revenue will float with those costs with no extra premium. And so so the stress that takes away from a farm to think, well, I want to do these things to my farm maybe, but I'm not too sure because it's going to cost me more premium. No, we want farmers to be in a position to make those key decisions throughout the year and know that they're covered every single step of the way as they're going through. And so it's becoming, for some farms, a game changer into how they farm and how they feel all the way through their, not just the cropping year, but all the way through their entire year. And one good example this past year that we're very proud to have all of these testimonials and stories every single year, but to be really there when it counts in mid-July last year, when it was already no moisture in a lot of areas for 5-6 weeks. It's hotter than hell. Excuse my language.
That's okay.
And farms that call their advisors and say, just want to make sure that we're okay, and that floor revenue is always in the back of their minds that yes, I am okay. Wow. And so the stresses that it takes away when you really understand how this program works is where my passion lies. That's why I'm doing this in the first place. Is my dad wishes we had something like this when we were farming, and so we're very passionate about our people. And I know everybody says that, but when we hear stories like that, when times are really tough, after being optimistic at the start, laying down that best genetics, laying down all the chemistry that they possibly have, and then for things that out of their control to kick him in the shins or her in the shins, that's where we come in and say, no, we're lifting you back up, and you can continue on next year with that same optimistic attitude as you had the past year. And so that's where we and our advisors are, who are all pretty much all farm people themselves. They live in the communities and really care about the health and welfare of the people around them.
You were great at explaining that. That was super clear.
I hope so.
Yeah, good job. My next question, do you guys cover beef?
Not
beef yet?
We don't cover any 4 or 2-leggeds yet. We're just on the crop side, which is a really good question. We're full farm revenue product on the crop side.
Yeah, I figured. I just had to ask.
Yep.
I'm sitting here because I can relate. We are forage and beef, right? But of course, a family farm and grain and all our audience. But I know as a beef producer, all the money that goes into the farm, we get paid once, twice a year. And you don't know what that is. And you know what? The crazy thing we talk about is, I'm going a little bit off here, but it connects. Business and mental health of the farmer connects. And when you're operating on such uncertainty and you don't have a floor like us here on the farm, then you can lock in all those different kinds of things. But if you are just going on the market and you don't know what your floor is, that is a tremendous amount of ongoing stress all year long, right? Because you put that cost in, doesn't get any cheaper. And then you're like, well, what crisis is going to be happening in fall when we sell? So, wow, we talk about strength of the business. I always go to the mental health of the farmer as well with products like this and strong business management, right?
And that's where my passion grows every single year. Sorry, I'm losing my voice a little bit. It grows every single year with this company is because, in my position right now, I don't get to be at the across from the farm table a whole lot anymore. I do as much as I can, but I am at every trade show, and for farms to come up to us. Yes, we like to talk to farms who don't know about us. Obviously, a trade show is for, but it's also for our clients and those farms that have went through a year like last year or any year and come up to you and tell us their stories. And for their families to be there and to say, last year sucked, but we're good. We're actually expanding by 10 quarters. We have a farm that's expanding by 10 quarters in the probably one of the worst drought-stricken areas in Saskatchewan, in a position to even grow his farm because of him knowing his bottom line.
If that isn't a powerful testimonial, I don't know what is. Wow.
That excites us, and that's why I talk about the resilience, not just an opportunistic view of 1 year, but resilience going forward, and how 1 year can really erode. Talk about working capital and that working capital ratio. I have a couple of conversations again where that they're coming, to us, knowing a little bit about our program, but not a lot, but saying, I don't want my working capital ratio to be eroded anymore. I want to keep that strong. What can you help me keep that strong? And so it's those things that we really like to talk about.
Lovely. This has been tremendous. Thank you so much, Mark.
You're welcome.
We're going to wrap the episode up, our segment here. I think that is a lot of value delivered and an excellent explanation of what you guys do. I know there's a lot of farmers out there that would love to learn more. And if they do, how can they connect with Global Ag Risk Solutions? Can you do a little bit of a call out there?
Sure can. So our advisors are our oxygen. They are who the farmers will meet with. And so to find the closest advisor to the farm, you just go onto our website, agrisksolutions.ca, agrisksolutions.ca. At the top of the landing page, you'll see our team. Hover over top of our team, and then it'll find an advisor will come up. Okay. Click on that. And map will pop up, find your area, your closest advisor, and you can go direct to the advisor. Their bio and their information is actually on there with many pictures too, so you actually see the person that you are going to be phoning. Or call the office too at 306-704-GARS, which is 4277. So 306-702-4277.
Perfect. And I know you guys have some fantastic team members. I've met a lot of them. So
yeah, we're very blessed. Very, very blessed.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, Mark, thank you again for coming on the episode and sharing more. This is exactly why I do these segments, to bring the people and ideas that'll impact the farming operations. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
And likewise, us, we appreciate being on too. Thank you, Tracy.
Excellent. Thanks, Mark. And you in the audience, thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this, like it, share it, and get it out there. Because you know what? Honestly, guys, we're all farmers and none of us like the uncertainty and risk above and beyond what we need to deal with. And this idea, the products, the information that Mark shared can really impact your farming operation and those in your community. So like it, share it, get it out there, and I will see you on the next segment. Bye, guys.